want to welcome all of you to San Diego State University. Bienvenidos a todos. Aquí tienen su casa. So, I want to thank Chancellor White, our distinguished CSU presidents, and members of the Board of Trustees for your leadership and the contributions you have brought to this important conversation about eliminating opportunity and achievement gaps and ensuring that all students have the opportunity to graduate in a timely manner according to their professional goals. I'm so excited to host this Graduation Initiative 2025 Symposium at San Diego State University. As you can see, I also planned the great weather and the great food. So, although I'm very new to the system, I'm aware of the commitment and efforts of our faculty and staff not only to examine best practices to ensure clear academic pathways for student success, but also to include high-impact practices to improve the educational experience of our students. These practices include eliminating policies and procedures that create barriers to enrollment or access to timely financial aid, enhancing academic advising to improve greater and more timely student engagement early in the career trajectory of our students, improving the use of predictive analytics to identify key factors that impact graduation rates, and tackling these problems head-on with new interventions. Hiring more tenure-track faculty to improve access to key courses and to enhance quality of student-faculty interaction. Although I'm very new to the system, I'm aware of all these wonderful opportunities. And I've clearly only named a few of the areas where we have made tremendous gains. Today and tomorrow, we will continue to listen and learn from each other. This is a beauty of the power of 23 universities. We will leave this conference with the shared knowledge and the belief that we can do even more for our students. We will identify the best practices and visions to impact academic success for our students, which will push us to our 2025 goals and beyond. I'm thrilled that as a CSU family, we are doing this transformational work together. As a new president, I look forward to working with the entire CSU family, students, faculty, staff, alumni, trustees, and administrators to ensure that we produce the graduates who will impact the world. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Dr. James Miner, Assistant Vice Chancellor and Senior Strategist for Academic and Student Affairs in the CSU Office of the Chancellor. Welcome, Dr. Miner.
Good afternoon. I asked for different theme music as I was coming to the stage. I have to talk to my people back there. You all have been welcomed to the campus, and I want to welcome you to the 2018 Graduation Initiative 2025 Symposium. Most of you all know that this is our third year, but this is the first time that we have ventured to host the symposium on a university campus. And if you look around the room, most of you know that we are pretty much at capacity, so we have invited a live stream audience for the symposium this year, given that we have capacity limitations in this space. So welcome to our live stream audience. I don't know where the cameras are, but there are approximately 2,000 people we're expecting to join us virtually between today and tomorrow. I have to say, I said to Michelle earlier, this started as a concept. And in most programs like this, you usually hear people say thank you at the end of the program to the group of individuals responsible for bringing us together. If it is okay with you, I would like to start the program by saying thank you. Any of you who have hosted such an event, you know how many details must be attended to, all of the things that go on behind the scenes. And there has been an extraordinary group of individuals who have worked really hard to bring us here together today. So I want to acknowledge their names. I won't read all of them. If you see them, you saw them at the registration table. They've got black CSU polo shirts on. But the group of individuals from the CSU Chancellor's Office has been phenomenal, as well as the team here at San Diego State. So would you please give them a warm round of applause for bringing us together today. As you know, the symposium is the time that we can convene, we come together to convene as a university community to focus on student success and to examine the question of what is required as an institution to achieve our Graduation Initiative 2025 goals. Our intent today and tomorrow is to facilitate imagination, reflection, and engagement, as well as a collective focus on more effectively serving students. We will also benchmark and measure our progress. Last week, Jerry Hanley and I were in Washington, D.C. for the Reimagining the Ecosystem of Higher Education Forum. So imagine Washington, D.C., a Reimagining Higher Education Forum, and in the room are lots of people who represented the alternative to traditional higher education. Venture capitalists, Google, Coursera, blockchain universities. And for the first time, I represented the tradition, the traditional universities. And, you know, when these individuals or organizations that are understood to be on the frontier understood themselves to be pushing the boundaries of what higher education needs to be but isn't. And so I began today thinking that their idea or concept of innovation was really about the sophistication of technology in higher education. By the end of the day, it was clear to me that the people in the companies gathered for the forum were essentially asking two questions. Listen to them. The first question that they were essentially asking was, how do we improve the success rate of degree and credential seekers to fill critical and immediate workforce needs? The sentiment was that too many students who enter traditional higher education institutions are unsuccessful, so we must create an alternative pathway to a post-secondary credential. The second question: how do we redesign degree opportunities that meet the needs of today's student, rather than asking today's student to figure out how to conform their lives around seemingly inflexible institutions in pursuit of a post-secondary degree or credential? I would argue that the Graduation Initiative has invited us to ask similar questions. How do we improve degree completion rates, close equity gaps, and honestly examine what structural and cultural changes are required to better serve students? We are responding. There is a pulse and a heartbeat, I'm happy to say, and that has been reflected in the improvement of our graduation rates. So it is now time to reveal the progress we have made towards our Graduation Initiative 2025 goals, and I am happy to say not only that there is good news and that the trend lines are moving in the right direction, representing all-time highs for the CSU in each category. Listen, for 2018, CSU students earned 105,431 bachelor's degrees, also representing an all-time high. This is 6,660 degrees more than 2017 and 13,000 additional degree holders compared to when we began in 2016. It's really good news if you also consider the fact that during that time, these gains were achieved while enrolling more students and also enrolling a higher percentage of underrepresented students. during this time frame. The slide that you'll see here represents the percentage point gains in graduation rates for each of the 4 categories we track for the graduation initiative. Since we began, the 4-year graduation rate has increased from 19 to 25%. Now, those 6 percentage points may seem small, but they represent nearly 3,900 students who earn their bachelor's degree in 4 years or less, saving them money, allowing them to move into the workforce or graduate school, and creating much-needed capacity for other CSU students. Those 3,900 students who graduated at the 4-year mark represent roughly 17,000 classroom seats in any given term. The 6-year graduation rate also improved to 61%, which is now above the national average for public 4-year universities, according to the National Center for Education and Statistics. The 2-year rate for transfer students also improved to 38%, just 7 percentage points shy of our goal, and the 4-year completion rate for transfer students improved to 77%. Now, the next slide illustrates the progress the CSU is making towards eliminating equity gaps between underrepresented students and their peers and Pell-eligible students and their peers. Last year, we celebrated because the graduation rates increased, but the equity gaps remain pretty stubborn. This year, the graduation rates have improved, and the equity gaps are beginning to move in the right direction. Our institutional position is and has been that ethnicity or your family income should not be the main predictor of whether a student earns a CSU degree, and we will remain committed to completely closing equity gaps for our students. Without question, there's more work to be done, but the progress over just the last 2 years is certainly worthy of acknowledgement. I don't have time this morning, I would like to, I don't have time to properly tease out the nuance behind all of the numbers and percentages, but they do tell a story about our collective effort, our collective focus, and our collective commitment. These numbers also tell a story about the demonstration of leadership of many of you in the room and at various levels across our university campuses. So give the person next to you a round of applause. A high five in the back I saw there, it's good. I have to stop here and make room for one of those leaders. It's the leader of the California State University system, our Chancellor Tim White.
Good afternoon. Geez, James, those are just stunning numbers. What a great way to start our conversation today and tomorrow. And I want to acknowledge the trustees of the California State University. These are folks that get appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. They are not paid. They spend countless hours helping think and guide us in all of our policies. And we're fortunate that so many are here today. Deborah Farrar is here, Jane Carney, Emily Hinton, who is the student trustee, Wenda Fong is here, Lily Kimbell, who is the vice chancellor. She's responsible for funding your campus, so if you want to. The vice chair of the Board of Trustees, Saya Brago is here, John Nylon. John represents the alumni on the Board of Trustees. Romy Sebelius, he represents the faculty on the Board of Trustees. Adam Day is the chair, a local boy, chair of the Board of Trustees, and Larry Norton and Jack McGrory. So please let me ask you to help me thank the trustees. So the numbers that you shared with us, James, really are, I got too much paper and not enough space up here. Here we go. Someday I'll convert to digital. Those numbers you shared represent really some revolutionary steps forward in our quest to enhance student achievement within the CSU. And on behalf of the board and so many within the CSU, as well as our stakeholders, we thank all of you for the remarkable work you're doing to make change happen. And believe me, I know that change is never easy. It's uncomfortable and disruptive to try something new, but your willingness to embrace change is making a real difference, a resounding positive difference in people's lives. So I suggest that we have now the 3 R's are now new. Revolutionary steps, remarkable work, and resounding impact on lives. And this symposium gives us a chance to explore these new ideas and consider fresh ways of reaching our goals, but it should also be a time of celebration. And we at the CSU can be rightly proud of the progress we're making, and I congratulate each of you and all of you who, with strong intentionality, are focusing your efforts in making this work through your energy and forward-leaning direction. You're setting the pace for even greater things to come. We are driving California's future, and therefore we are driving America's future. And do not lose track of the importance of that outcome. I don't want us, however, to lose track of the real meaning, the visceral meaning of this initiative. It goes well beyond the numbers. The numbers are indicators, or indices really, but it's not about us just achieving certain percentages of students earning a degree in a certain amount of time. Yes, that's important because it's an illustration of our success that we can communicate to stakeholders, but it's the quality of the learning and discovery environment that is driven by our faculty's exacting expectations. It's fueled by our students' curiosity and ability and aspiration for a different future for them and their families. And it's supported by our staff and their leadership writ large across the university. That's what this represents. The real measure, the important measure, at the end of the day measure, is the one that counts for a lifetime. And that is, as James mentioned, the profound impact the graduation initiative is having on individuals, the young and the not so young, people up and down the state of California who are benefiting from the changes that you are making, the processes that you are putting in place, and the steps that you are taking to enhance student achievement and success. The very positive impact those individuals will ultimately have on their families and their communities, and as I mentioned, on California and the nation. Thanks to the GRAD initiative, more students than ever are earning their bachelor's degrees and entering the graduate school or professional school or into the economy and society civically engaged. And as James mentioned, 105,000 plus new students receiving their baccalaureate degree this year. On top of that, we're about another 20,000 degrees and credentials in the graduate program. So let's not lose track of that as well. Let me put the baccalaureate degrees in context. 105,431. That's equivalent to every resident of the city of Carlsbad, or every resident in Burbank, or Redding, or Santa Barbara. Every year, we are graduating a city of educated folk. That's pretty damn cool. And over the last 2 years, some 13,387 more graduates because of this initiative and your work that we otherwise would have predicted to have. That's almost a 13% increase in the number of graduates just in the last 2 years. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of the faculty, staff, administrators, and the students of the CSU are making that effort. The result is transformative. The sooner a student graduates, the sooner she can secure a job or go on to an advanced degree. And for many new alumni, this opens doors to helping their families, helping them secure a more financially stable future, to build savings accounts sooner, and to jumpstart their careers, the many careers that they'll have during their lifetime of work. So let's take a look at a couple of statistics just from the simple economic point of view that underscore what I just said. If you, as a student, earn your degree just one term earlier, yes, we crow about 4-year rates and less than or equal to 6-year rates, but there's some students who are on the 5-year plan because of life circumstance. They can get out in 4.5, or the 6-year plan, they can get out in 5.5. Or, just move one semester earlier, they'll have an immediate savings of over $13,000 by not having to go to school for that one more term. And a longer-term gain of about $31,000, a little over $31,000, just by graduating one term sooner. And the sooner, of course, they graduate, the smaller, if they had to have debt, the smaller that debt will be, and the quicker they can pay it off. California already has one of the lowest average student debts in the nation, and the CSU average is even less than that. Less than half of our students leave here with debt, and that average is about $17,400. That's an investment. Yes, we wish there was no debt, but the fact that it is modest in the picture of the big picture is really quite a testimony to California. 57% of our students have their tuition fully covered by non-loan financial aid, and graduating in a timely way is a critical factor in helping keep that debt load as low as possible. I couldn't be more proud to see those equity gap numbers move. I know it can get to zero. I know it can get to zero, and it will get to zero, and we will work day and night until that happens, and then we will work day and night to keep it there. It's definitely a cause for celebration. If I had a football, I'd spike it, but I don't, and I won't. We're seeing progress in this very critical goal, but it's more than a goal. It's a statement of our values, that we believe in inclusivity, that we believe in excellence, and we believe any student, regardless of the circumstance of their birth and their life, who has the intellect and willingness to do the work, will get a degree from the California State University if they have the courage to apply to us and be admitted. In a country searching for values, that is a value that we stand for, and I'm proud of that. Our efforts to modernize and nimble-ize, I don't know if that's a word, there's got to be an English professor here, modernize and become more nimble with enrollment management are resulting in so many more students finding access to more educational opportunities. Last year, campuses added 4,300 new courses, which opened up 90,000 seats for 90,000 rear ends in order to have access to their curriculum. At the same time, the focus on academic preparation, and so proud that we have remediated remediation, making it possible for all of our students to earn college credit for all of their courses the moment they join the CSU family. By every measure, we are doing better. But again, the most important outcome is the impact we're having on individuals and their families and communities. At the risk of boring trustees and others who might have heard my comments in September, they were so good, I'm going to repeat them right now about being with Thomas Parham, the new president of Dominguez Hills, and the experience that he and I shared on a wonderful autumn day on his campus, welcoming new students to campus as they moved in, and such a sense of excitement and anticipation on our students, and the hope and worry, tears and laughter on the parents' faces. Melissa, who actually is from San Diego, chose Dominguez Hills, and she's the first in her family to go to college. And I helped her move boxes into her residence hall. upstairs, I might add. Thomas was smart. He got the feather pillow. I got the microwave. I was struck by her determination and courage to succeed in college as she was meeting her roommate for the first moment, and I was moved by her mother. Her mom, about yay high, was so proud and yet so scared, and in her halting English, let me know about both of those emotions that she was feeling. But I became a little bit circumspect and sort of humbled by the realization of what we're actually doing now on an N of 1 instead of an N of 484,000, which is normally where I live. Both she and Melissa were putting their trust in the California State University, in the future that we're promising to help them achieve. Now, in all the changes we institute, the way we move this wonderful university forward, that must be our guiding star, our North Star. The future we are promising to help our students achieve. Cal State University is the key to opening doors to a brighter future. That is because of our quality, because of our size, and because, as I mentioned a moment ago, our unending commitment to inclusivity. Especially true for California, and the foundational reason why we continued financial support for the grad initiative. It's not only imperative today and in the years ahead of us, it is a remarkable, wise investment, helping more Californians gain access to a CSU education, helping them earn their degrees sooner in a timely manner. It's a brilliant strategy for ensuring the state of California remains the Golden State. And there are some folks and policymakers who say that it may be expensive. And to that I simply say it is a lot less expensive than the alternative. Like Melissa, more than 100,000 students, each with their own background, their own goals, their own stories, their own dreams, started a new academic year just a few weeks ago on our 23 campuses. Thanks to you, I'm increasingly confident in our ability to serve those students, to help them reach their goals, achieve while they're with us, and achieve once they leave us as alumni. I encourage you in this room to not stop innovating, exploring, pursuing excellence, and helping our students excel. So let me close where I started with the 3 R's. Revolutionary steps, remarkable work, resounding impact. And let's up the count by 2 more R's. Rewarding. Rewarding to us professionally and rewarding to the future of California. And the final R is this is the right thing. This is the right path for our students, for their future, for our future. Let's keep moving. Thank you.